We've got to make this song like for the average EV person to educate them about EVs, okay? So do you know the song, The Other Day? And then you repeat what I say, okay? So let's go, Abigail. The other day, I saw an EV. It was a Tesla. And I loved it so much. So I went out and bought one. But I didn't know how to charge it. So I went to an out of spec Dave video. And it taught me how to do it. The other day I bought a Tesla. I'm so happy I don't know what to do. Welcome to another episode of Out of Spec Dave, where I find myself today in Hudson, New York, right by the Hudson River. And we're going to be doing an EV journey. This is a very special edition EV journey today because the folks behind me, they actually came to the EV meetup that we held at the Norbrook Farms Brewery in Connecticut about 3 weeks ago. And Tsatsu, his wife Beverly, and their two kids, they're going to be part of this video. So why don't we get to know them, talk to them a little bit about what they do, where they live, and what's going on in their lives. And then we're going to jump in their Model 3. We're going to learn all about their EV journey. And super nice people, great family. Can't wait to introduce them to you and just learn about what their perspectives are with respect to EVs. Because you all hear mine all the time. Let's hear somebody else's for a change. So let's get into it. All right, so take me for a quick little tour of your wife, Beverly's.
That's
right.
Correct.
Let's be clear here.
Yep.
Model 3, the 2021.
So standard range plus, heat pump. Got 19-inch wheels. Got these cross climate tires. So we actually bought it used, so this is how it came. But very good condition.
And those are aftermarket wheels.
Those are aftermarket wheels. That's correct.
Huh? Those are pretty sweet.
They're pretty nice. Don't zoom in too close because I did curve it a little.
Oh, don't worry about that. No, that was Beverly.
No, that was me. So
all right,
good.
There you go.
Pretty much, I haven't done anything to it. I did recently add mud guards.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Which was recommended to prevent rust and everything else.
Yeah.
But I'm not terribly happy about them because they're so low, they scrape.
Yeah.
So I got to do something about that.
Plus, also you get a lot of snow where you live,
yeah,
right?
Snow and salt. So that's my concern because the car sits pretty low to the ground.
Right.
And I just don't want it to rust. Basically.
And you bought this car when?
February.
Oh wow! So just recently.
Yes.
And how many miles was on the car when you got it?
42, I think. And I think we have about 51 right now.
Okay, so it's just on the brink of being out of warranty, or it is out of warranty.
It is out of warranty.
It is out of warranty. Okay, but nothing ever goes wrong with these cars. You don't have to.
I'm pretty comfortable. I can handle it, so
yeah,
not too worried about.
No, that's good. Do you often use the autopilot and all that with it? Yeah, good.
My wife doesn't use autopilot. Doesn't use cruise control.
Yeah,
she just drives.
That's like Kathy. She doesn't like to use it either. I don't know.
I use it all the time.
Meanwhile, her Model Y over there has got FSD, and she doesn't even use it. But what a beautiful spot we picked here to meet. Down here. Well, let's jump in, go for a drive, and we'll learn more about your EV journey.
Okay, cool.
All right, so here we are. Tsatsu, you're driving. I see you got the sling back going. You got the chair all the way in the back. Beverly, you're jamming Beverly's knees.
I know, right?
Right?
There's my knee right there.
And David's just he's chilling in the back.
Actually playing his Switch right now.
He's playing his Switch? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you can multitask. That's allowed. At least he doesn't have his headphones on. He's not ignoring us completely.
Completely.
So, all right. Well, listen. Why don't we take a drive and let's talk a little bit about. See these guys over here? They're like professionals, right? With their cameras and all that. What do we have? We have 2 GoPros and an iPhone. That's all we need.
Yeah.
We're going to get more views than you. All right. So, but, I really don't know my way around this area. So if you get lost, that's okay. Cause we can always put in the GPS. All right. So I understand this is Beverly's car and so
Well, that's what Chachu would say. He would say that it's my car, but basically I think it's his car because he knows more about the car than I do.
right,
He tracks all of the range and everything else.
right.
And
Do you-
I basically just drive it to work.
Yeah. Do you use Tesla by any chance?
No.
You should check that out. $5 a month if you're into data. It's a really good app, and what it does is it basically keeps track of what is that a little bit of.
That is the latest addition I put on, which is the Tesla mudguards.
Oh, the mudguards are scraping, especially with me in the car.
They have like 1 inch of clearance, so I got to fix it.
Oh yeah, we got to go rip those things off right now.
Absolutely.
I'll fix that. You got a pair of pliers, David. You'll help me with that, right? We'll get those off in no time. So Chachu, tell me a little bit. You're an engineer. You're into tech. Were you always into cars as a kid, or did you turn into a car guy once the EVs came out?
No, I was always into cars. I was always buying road and track magazines and car and drive and all that stuff.
Oh yeah.
So I just sort of a car nerd, basically.
Right. Me too. I was always into Consumer Reports too. With the little circles where they would tell you whether the cars were good, fair, or poor, and all that. I used to listen to Car Talk, which was Click and Clack. Remember the brothers from up in Boston?
The Tappet brothers. Yep.
Yeah, and it was really my dad turned me on to those guys on public radio. And that was always a great listen to. Look at these little shacks over there.
Huh.
They don't look like they're habitable, right?
Yeah.
So Abigail, whenever we see houses like that, we say needs paint.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit of paint, right? Yeah. So what was your first car?
First car that I bought would have been a Nissan Altima.
Okay.
That's when I started working. And so I'm the opposite of you, Dave. I keep my cars for a long time.
Well, wait a minute. 2 months is a long time.
So years.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So I had that for many years. Then
Right.
Nothing was wrong with it, but then I made a mistake I went on a business trip in Spain, and I got upgraded in the rental car company.
Okay.
They gave me a BMW.
Oh, yeah.
Took that on the highway, took it in the hills, and I was like, crap, now I got to get one.
Yeah.
So then I got one. 3 Series, and I drove that for a while. I love that car, best handling car ever.
Right.
Then I had there's one problem with it, which was the oil separator issue that I had to keep going in every year to get fixed. But outside of that, pretty good, reliable car. I fixed most of whatever was broken with it.
Right.
But then the kids came along, and I couldn't put the car seat in the back without my seat going very far forward. So. BMW had to go, got a Honda Accord. I did get a stick shift, so at least I could have a little bit
All right,
fun.
there you go. So you're a 3-pedal guy.
3-pedal guy.
Okay, that's good. That's good.
And so still have it.
Right.
And then my wife, she had a Toyota Corolla. We got rid of that, got the CRV. So that helped with the kids and everything else.
Okay.
And then I think over the last couple of years, we said, okay, we got to replace the CRV with something. And so they wanted an electric car.
When you say they, who's they?
My wife and my daughter primarily.
Okay.
And then David too jumped into and said they want an electric car.
Okay.
They want to save the environment
It's
and
more
all that
sustainable.
stuff.
So what? Yeah. So Abigail, tell me because you came to the EV meetup, Abigail, right?
Mhm.
First of all, thank you for coming. That was nice of both of you guys.
It was awesome.
What did you think of that? Did you have a good time?
Yeah, I thought it was really fun, and I like meeting people in general and being with people, and I thought it was really nice to meet other people who are also EV drivers. Well, I can't drive, but
Right. Well, maybe Dad could take you off in the back of a cornfield somewhere.
yeah.
Nobody will know, right? That's what I remember. I don't want to say this. Well, I'm going to. All right. When my dad grew up in Rochester, New York, in a very small town where there were a lot of cornfields, and when I was 9 years old, he let me drive a car on a dirt road,
Mhm.
and I was hooked. I
9
said, "That's
years
it.
old.
That was it." And then I came home and I started making go-karts and not gas powered, just anything that would go down a hill. And I was just fascinated with anything that would move. But yeah, well, Abigail was great. Look, you're in 8th grade, right? And you were just, I told Kyle that I was coming up here today to meet with you and your dad. And Beverly, no disrespect, but Kyle said, "Wait a minute, that wasn't Tsatsu's wife?" I was like, "No, Kyle, she's a young girl. She's not." And he goes, "I guess I just didn't focus because and that's such a Kyle thing, right?" Yeah. So, and so that's really well. Beverly, you missed a fun event, but we had a good time.
Definitely did.
And that was good. And David, you did as well. Abigail and Beverly, I didn't ask you what have you look at cars as just transportation, but you were interested in EVs as well. Tell me a little bit about your fascination with EVs.
Well, I just wanted something that I thought would be more environmentally friendly. So that's why I was thinking of an EV, and I really started back working about almost 2 years now, and I don't have a long commute into work, so I wanted something that I could use to go back and forth to work, do grocery shopping and everything else. Wouldn't have to worry about stopping at the gas pump to fill up. And I thought, okay, maybe an EV would be a great way to do that.
Right.
And so we actually started looking at Chevy Bolts.
Okay.
And because they're really reasonable.
Yes,
and
they are.
Definitely not a bad starter car into EVs,
Yeah.
So we were looking at them, but then it was taking forever for them to get back to us with when the car would be available.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So after that, we just started looking.
This was during COVID?
It was.
So before that, we actually, I placed an order on an ID4.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like maybe last spring, I think. And so we just kind of went through the system. And then towards the end of the year, I placed an order on a Bolt as well.
Right.
And so I was trying to figure out what works best for my wife. And she liked hatchbacks, so I was like, great.
Yeah.
Then the ID4 came in, I think, in January. And now after the order, I was kind of hemming and hawing because of the software, the interface. And I just didn't like the way you had to navigate the menus to get to different things. It was just not intuitive.
Right.
And I figured for her, I wanted something just simpler.
Yeah.
And so we actually did go to the dealership. We test drove the ID4. And I was like, yeah, no, I don't think so. I don't want drama-free car.
Right.
And ordered the Bolts, I think, in November last year. And the dealership said, well, in another 3 months.
Wait, G-Wagon. Oh, love those. My daughter, Katie, loves those cars.
Yeah,
very nice. Go ahead, sorry.
We ordered the Bolt. They said it'll come in 2-3 months. 2-3 months later, no clue even if the vehicle was accepted by the dealership. They had to get an allocation. It's just a very complicated system just to order a regular car, which is a Bolt, a Bolt EUV. And then I think one weekend I said, hey, look, I know you want a hatchback, but let's go to Tesla, just test drive a Model 3.
Yeah.
And I was like, we drove it, and I was like, do you like it? It's not a hatchback. Is that okay? She's like, it's fine for me.
Right.
So then I looked online. I still didn't want to pay the prices for the new one. I think, to me, a car is a waste of money, so I don't want to spend too much money on it.
Yeah.
So
my wife would agree with you.
But I still like them. So
no, I hear you.
So we just went and I think I looked online, and within like maybe 3-4 days, I saw one in New Jersey. Contacted a guy.
A private seller.
Okay, that's good.
Because I didn't want to deal with dealerships. I just
I know. I've had an interesting couple of weeks just calling around to dealerships who happen to be in New Jersey, and some of the games they've been playing are just insane, crazy. But it's always a little bit of a risk to buy a used car no matter what. But it sounds like you found yourself a good one.
Yeah, and that's the thing with the dealerships. When we even tried to buy the Bolts EUV just from another dealer. They list it on the website, but they don't have the vehicle in stock.
Right.
So like just a waste of time, and they want you to come in, and I don't have that kind of time. So
Right.
So yeah, so we got a good guy, great guy. We bought the car from. He kept it in great condition.
Uh-huh.
Really supercharged it, hand washed it himself, and so within a week we bought the car. We had to wait for some kind of, I think, the title to come in, so that took another week or so.
Right.
Went to New Jersey, picked it up, drove it home, and I think 2-3 weeks later we took it to DC for a road trip.
Yeah. So that's sometimes what happens when you buy from a private owner is if they have a loan on the vehicle, they need to pay the car loan off. And sometimes you run into situations where they don't have the money to pay the loan off. So then do you buy the car? Do you give them the money? Then they pay the loan. It gets a little tricky with that kind of a thing. Whereas with dealerships, they already have the title and all of that.
Yeah, I think in this case he paid it off, but it took like 7 days.
Yeah, it takes time for them to get the title. Yeah, that can be a pain. So this is your first EV, and I'm proud of you guys for doing that. It seems crazy that you wanted to buy a Bolt EUV and you couldn't get your hands on one. That just seems insane to me that there was. But we've gone through sort of an interesting time when, for certain models the demand has outstripped the supply, which can cause issues. Is this the only car that you guys have, or do you have another car as well?
We have a Honda CR-V, and Tsatsu has his Honda Accord also.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got you. So
we have 2 ICE cars.
So you have two. So you have fallbacks in case you need. And then tell me about charging. Do you have the ability to charge at home?
Yeah, we do charge at home. And Tsatsu also charges at work. On days when I work from home, he takes the car into the office and he can charge there. I'm hoping that my office, New York State, will bring some charging to where I work.
Yeah.
That would be nice.
Yeah, I think it's getting better, much better, and a lot of places are starting to do that.
Definitely.
So Abigail, what do you think about having a Tesla? Is that cool? Do your friends like it?
I think it's pretty cool.
It's funny, when I was a kid, my dream car was like a red Ferrari, and now young kids, they go, wow, look, a Tesla. It's like, it's become almost like the David, what about you? I got to get your opinion. What are your thoughts about Teslas or electric vehicles?
I like having an electric vehicle. It's really nice.
Yeah. Do you feel like you're doing something good for the environment by having an electric car? And if so, how does that make you feel?
Yeah, it feels better than having a gas-powered car.
Okay. Well, that's a good thing, right? If you can maybe help the environment a little bit. So look, I have a question for you, Tsatsu. If money was no object, all right, money was no object, you hit the lottery. What would be in your driveway? What would you buy?
EV or non-EV?
I know that I didn't say EV or non-EV. So that's what car and or SUV would you? That's my dream car. I'm going to go out and get that.
Probably. So my dream car has always been a 911, maybe like a 993. But I'll probably get a sports Porsche Taycan Sport Turismo. Money was no object.
Okay.
Turbo.
Nice.
Yeah.
Do you do much road tripping with this car, or not really?
Not really. The most I may do maybe a 2.5 hour, 3 hour drive or something.
Okay.
So not much.
All right. So range anxiety is not such a big deal. You being a Tesla guy may not know what charging anxiety is, but
so range anxiety is you don't think you have enough range to get to where you're going, right? Charge anxiety, you don't think you have enough chargers to charge wherever you're going to.
But we don't have that problem because we have the supercharged network, right?
That's exactly right. Yeah. And that's the thing that is, a lot of the manufacturers are now switching over to the North American charging standard. And so that will open up a lot more of the brands to being able to charge at Tesla superchargers, which I think is a good thing. But right now, it's just more strategic partnerships and alignment with those manufacturers. But you know, in your area, right near where you live, there is a Magic Dock.
Yeah.
Right, and I know we talked about that at the EV meetup, and what that allows you to do, Beverly, if you have any other car other than a Tesla that uses the CCS port, you can pull up to a Magic Dock and charge the car at that Magic Dock, which is really good. It's kind of like the hint of things to come, which is going to be good. So when you get that Taycan, you'll be able to use.
Well, you know, but by then Volkswagen might have switched.
Yeah, I mean, they're like one of the only holdouts, right? Yeah. So it's crazy. So, all right, so Tsatsu, what advice, before we do our sing-along, what advice do you have for someone who's thinking about buying an EV? What advice do you have for them?
I would say try it out. Test drive as many cars as you can. Figure out your use case, right? If you don't drive 300 miles very frequently, you don't need a 300-mile car. So figure out what you need and then just get the car that works for you. In general, the cost per mile is half or even less than half of a typical gas car. So if you drive a lot, drive in the city, it'll definitely help you out. But figure out what works for you, because it doesn't work for everybody.
Right. And then getting the charging station if you have the ability to put a level 2 in your home, you would highly recommend that, right?
Yeah, so that's what we did. I think the first couple of weeks we just plugged it in 110, just regular household.
Right.
You'll get 10, 15% overnight or something, which is enough for your daily commute. But we put in a level 2 charger, so 3-4 hours, you're back to 80%. So.
Right.
Not a big deal. And for today, I just charged to 100% before we got here.
Right.
So so even though we talk about charge anxiety, I don't care that much because I don't do a lot of road tripping, and 99% of my charge is at home.
You're doing it at home, yeah. So, and that fits in. So what's nice about your situation is that you're not really taking this car on a road trip, but if you were, you'd have the network as a backup.
Yeah, I'll add. So a couple of weeks after we got the car, we were going to DC, and I wanted to take the gas car, which is like a 6.5-7 hour drive from home.
Yeah.
And everybody else said, let's take the Tesla. So we took the Tesla. I didn't know where we were going to stop.
Yeah.
I just plugged in our destination and told us stop here for 10 minutes, et cetera, et cetera. So I think the best technology of this car is the ability to predict your range or percentage when you get there. I think that's something that Tesla does very well. So you don't have to think about fuel or where to charge. You just get in and go. It'll tell you when to stop.
Right. So the en route planning is very easy. And then when you get to the supercharger, all you got to do is plug it in, and it charges. There's no app that you have to use.
You plug it in, walk away, go to the bathroom, come back, and then you leave.
And so on that note, we're going to sing. All right. So do you have a favorite song, Abigail? We've got to make this song like for the average EV person to educate them about EVs, okay? So do you know the song, The Other Day? And then you repeat what I say, okay? So let's go, Abigail. The other day.
The other day.
I saw an EV.
I saw an EV.
It was a Tesla.
It was a Tesla.
And I loved it so much.
I loved it so much.
So I went out and bought one. But I didn't know how to charge it.
But I didn't know how to charge it.
So I went to an out of spec day video. And it taught me how to do it. The other day I bought a Tesla. I'm so happy I don't know what to do. All right, well, listen, that was fun. We'll kill it at that. Everybody, listen, guys, I want to thank you for, meeting me halfway here in whatever town this is, Hudson, New York.
Yep.
You got to find a nice place for lunch. This is a beautiful day out with your family. Tsatsu, you've got a lovely family. Beverly, you're an awesome mom. Keep New York State running for us, please. Abigail, good luck to you with your drama stuff, whatever you do. And I'll be looking for you on Broadway at some point. And David, we're going to hang out. You and I, we're going to get to know each other better and have a good time. But everyone, thank you for watching another episode of Out of Spec Dave. Here's a typical family from upstate New York that has gone EV. If they can do it, you can do it too. So we'll catch you on the next episode of Out of Spec Dave. Have a great day. Take care, everybody.
Bye.